Hello everyone, welcome back. Tonight, or in the morning, depending on when you're watching this, we are going to be discussing the 2018 version of Halloween. I'm labeling it a review, but it's been out for a little while, so it's going to be more of a discussion. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've seen it, you like it, don't like it, but at least have seen it, or if you haven't, then hopefully I won't give too much away. And then we're going to be playing around with the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I got this off of Poshmark a while ago, and I have not used it yet, so we're going to get into that. I have the rest of my face done, so it's just going to be eyes and a little bit of a lip. But I have my mirror. Hopefully it's not in the way. Hopefully this angle is okay. Lighting is decent, hopefully. Most of my brushes are clean. I washed everything the other day, and they're not all clean. I've used a few of them, but yeah, if you're not familiar, there's the palette. I'm gonna do oranges, maybe this bronze, brown. I'm not gonna lift it up with each shade, but that's what I'm thinking. And I'm wearing my cold shoulder jack-o'-lantern sweatshirt just for the occasion, getting ready for Halloween early. I'm kind of over summer and just ready for fall, I think. I did rewatch it today. Halloween is available on HBO. Sorry, had a brain fart. It's available on HBO. I have Prime, and we get HBO as an add-on through Prime, so I watched it on Amazon Prime. Today I did prime my lids, the MAC Painterly Paint Pot and Soft Ochre, and then we're just going to get into it. But it had been a while since I had seen it. I saw it in the theater when it first came out. I haven't mentioned it. The Halloween movies are my favorite. It's my favorite franchise. Second would probably be The Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know why. I've always liked Halloween, and Michael Myers is my favorite, iconic horror movie icon. Laurie Strode's one of my favorite characters, so that was one that I did go and see in the theater. Usually I just wait for him to come out on video and watch him at home, but I was super excited that they were doing a new one. John Carpenter was on board and was involved in the project. Jamie Lee Curtis came back to reprise her role, so I was super excited. And it was one of those, my husband does not like horror movies, but he went. My parents went because they knew how excited I was. It was really nice. So it had been a while. That was a long reason why I watched it today, but I wanted to rewatch it so that I could be a little bit more familiar about things I wanted to talk about. This video may be a little bit ranty in some areas because there are some things that are frustrating about it in the series. So if it gets a little ranty, I apologize. I still really like it. They're planning on doing 2 more. I'm excited for those. I will go and see them, but just know this may get a little bit ranty. If you're not aware or you didn't realize, it is a direct sequel to the second movie, which that irritates me a little bit. Not that it doesn't, and I'll explain why. It irritates me because, I get 1 and 2 are in concession. 3, and I'll just go through if you're not familiar with all of the Halloween movies really quick before I do any more with my eyes. 1 and 2 follow each other. 2 is a direct sequel to 1. Okay, 3 might as well not even be part of the franchise, has nothing to do with Michael Myers. That confuses a lot of people that aren't horror fanatics. 4 and 5 deal with a character called Jamie, who is Laurie Strode's daughter. She's killed in a car accident, and Jamie goes into foster care, and then Michael Myers comes after her. Her character is also briefly in 6. Then comes H2O. Now, H2O is pretending that the only movies that took place were 1 and 2. So Halloween H2O is a direct sequel to 2. Also, in that, she fakes her own death, changes her name, becomes a headmistress at a boarding school, has a son. Michael Myers shows up and comes after her. Okay. In Halloween Resurrection, you see her briefly in the beginning of the film. And hanging on the wall is a picture of her son, who's played by Josh Hartnett. He was in H2O, and they show a picture of him in her room at the beginning of Halloween Resurrection. Okay. Now we move to Halloween 2018. And I'm not talking about any of the Rob Zombie remakes. That's a whole nother ball of wax. Okay. So now we're in the new one that came out in 2018. Okay, that movie is a direct sequel to number 2 and is pretending that Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection never happened. Now, Halloween H2O is not a bad movie. I know there's people in the horror community that hate it. It's just like Freddy versus Jason. There's people that love that movie and that think it was absolutely stupid. I think that movie's entertaining. It's funny. I like it. Okay. I didn't mind Halloween H2O. I thought it was a good movie. That was another one, again, when it came out. I saw it in the theater years ago. Didn't think there was anything wrong with it. John Carpenter was involved in H2O. That was the only reason Jamie Lee Curtis agreed to come back and do that movie, was because John Carpenter, who was involved in 1 but didn't do 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and the studio kept going, he agreed to come back and do Halloween H2O because it was the 20th anniversary. So I don't understand because of, I can understand him wanting to pretend that 4, 5, and 6 didn't happen because he wasn't involved in those projects. But I don't understand why they had to pretend that H2O didn't happen because he was involved in that project. Did he just, because I'm confused, because if you watch the new one, she has a daughter. She doesn't have a son. She never faked her own death. Like, that whole scenario never happened. So I don't know if he was just like deciding he didn't like that direction, or because of Halloween Resurrection, he felt like he couldn't continue on and just wanted to start over. That's the only thing that frustrates me, is because he was involved in H2O. I can't remember if he directed it, but he produced it. Like I said, I was involved in the project, so I don't understand why he felt the need to just pretend that movie didn't happen. And there's probably articles on it, I'm sure. I don't read a lot of horror news anymore. I used to have a subscription to Fangora and was very, caught up on directors and producers and movies and who said what and why they did it. And I just don't follow the any of the horror community stuff anymore. I just don't watch as much as I used to, and just, so there may be an article on it and I'm just dumb and don't know and am ranting for no reason, but it just kind of frustrated me that they just, because H2O, like I said, wasn't a bad movie. Now, Halloween Resurrection wasn't the best movie ever, but it wasn't god awful. It was better, in my opinion. Not talking about 3. 6 is probably the worst, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but yeah, like I said, because he was involved in that project, I was confused on why he felt the need to just completely start over. But other than that, it's a good movie. There's a lot of little homages to the original. There's a scene where the granddaughter is at school in class, and it's, the same classroom that Laurie Strode's in the first one when she sees him outside her window. Like I said, it's a direct sequel to 2, and this could be why, because in Halloween H2O, they played on the whole storyline that he's her brother. And in this movie, he's just a guy that kills her friends. And she's just somebody that survived. There's no real explanation as to why he comes after her. It's probably because she survived. She was the one that got away. And that could be why he decided to go back, because he wanted to get rid of that aspect of the story. And because Halloween, when John Carpenter did it, never meant for there to be sequels. It was meant to be a standalone movie. I mean, and it was made in 1978. They didn't do sequels to everything like they do nowadays. So it was meant to be a standalone. He was not okay with them doing sequels. And then they just kept going anyway. And then that whole concept of him being her brother was created down the road. That was never meant to be part, like that was not a concept that he had thought of when the original movie came out. He was just a guy coming after some people. And then the Laurie Strode character was just, the final girl, the one that survived. So that whole storyline about him being her brother was developed and created later on without Carpenter as a means to explain, why he went after her. And it was just one of those things where it was just meant to be bad, circumstances, wrong place, wrong time kind of a thing, because he was going home and she just happened to live near where he had lived as a child and just happened to be home. Like that, I don't think was good enough for people, so that's why later on they created the storyline that, this was her brother and he had sought her out, kind of a thing. So I think he decided he wanted to throw that out and be more true to his original concept and just decided to start over. But like I said, it frustrated me because H2O was not, in my opinion, was not a bad film. Like I said, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, in the horror community that didn't like it, but I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it was Josh Hartnett's first film. He's very young in that movie, but like I said, I liked it. I didn't mind it. But anyway, that's my little rant. Like I said, there are a lot of good moments in it. Like I said, where she's in school and you can see, where they've recreated. There's a little like Easter eggs, I guess you would call it, throughout the film. If you're a fan, that you pick up on that. I'm sure my husband didn't notice because he doesn't watch horror movies, and I don't think he had seen. I was trying to figure out what colors I'm going to use. I don't think he had seen any of them, so I don't think he noticed any of that stuff, but I did, and I appreciated it. It's a little bit of fallout with this one shimmer shade. Not bad though. I always do my eyeshadow last. I do not do it first because like when I wear liquid foundation, I have a hard time blending it up like around my eyebrows and near the eyeshadow, so I just tend with the fallout, which I'm sure there's people that probably think I'm crazy, but you can put extra powder down if you're worried about it. I like this brush. This is from the Jeffree Star Morphe, the J52, but any fluffy brush and a light hand will just sweep it away. I don't put extra powder down typically unless I know the palette's going to be really bad, but if your face is set and you go in with a fluffy brush and a light hand, generally it should just sweep off and you shouldn't have any cling to your face. Now when you go in with your finger, and that's when it's gonna like smear all over and turn into a mess, but I generally don't have issues with that. But it is a good movie. I'm interested to see where they go with it now. I might just use that same brush. Where did I put it? Like I said, Jamie Lee Curtis has, as far as I know, signed on to do them. So they're planning 2 more. I'm assuming John Carpenter is going to be involved. I don't know for sure if he is, but I know she is. So I'm interested to see what they do with it after this, because I mean, I won't spoil the ending, but it concludes, but nobody ever, I won't tell you how he dies if you don't, that way you don't, because he dies at the end of every single movie, so don't be shocked, but he always comes back. It's like Jason, and even with Jamie Lee Curtis, like nobody ever really dies in horror movies, so they can bring anybody back. But I won't ruin like the complete ending, even though I did just tell you that. But like I said, you shouldn't really be shocked at this point if you've watched horror movies at all, because they love to kill everybody and then bring them back. That's what they do now. And then like they've been doing that over and over with the Halloween movies. My lighting's not great. I might have to turn this on briefly because I can't tell how the blending looks. So sorry that it got bright all of a sudden. I feel like these shimmers are just okay. And what brush is this? It could have been the brush, maybe? I don't know. I feel like those are just like satin and not shimmers. But leave me comments down below. I'm curious how other people liked the movie. I'm just looking to see if I've got a glitter or a pigment or something in here that I can put on top that's going to be a little bit more sparkly. Oh, that's really orange. Yeah, we'll take a gamble and we'll go bright orange. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And like I said, I don't really follow the community anymore, so I don't know how it was received. I know people were excited for it generally, and there's people that weren't, that were like, you know, another flippin' movie, but oh, that's pretty. I'll have to remember that combination. That's what I wanted. I don't know if you can, and I'll turn the light off, but hopefully you'll be able to see it better. That's much better. I need to remember I have those pigments. This is one of the ColourPop Kathleen lights. Loose pigments in the Ram. It's like a pretty like orangey. It looks real pretty over. I am getting it all over. There is a lot of like fallout with these. They're crumbly, but they're loose. I did spray my brush before I went in, but this is one of those where it might be good to do your eyes first, but I don't mind. Like you can see I have on my nose. I don't care if I have glitter on my face. Generally, if there's any remnants when I brush, it's like the little glitter flecks that'll stay, and I just use the ColourPop setting spray to wet your brush. When you wet your brush to go in with like a loose pigment or to wet like the shadows, it really doesn't matter what setting spray you use. See, there's a little bit of that gold glitter lingering on my face, but that doesn't really bother me. So if that bothers you with those pigments, yes, do your makeup before, but that's so much prettier. I have to remember that combination. I like that. I like glitter and sparkle, if you didn't notice. Wasn't glittery enough for me. Not impressed, and I got pigment all over. Not super impressed. I mean, they're not bad, these foiled shades in here, but the pigment took it to a whole nother level. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, leave me a comment down below. Again, like I was saying, and I went off on another tangent. I'm curious how people liked it, because like I said, I didn't really read any articles anywhere on how people felt about the movie. So I'm curious if you watched it, if you liked it. Are you excited that they're doing more? Are you over it? I do listen to the Late Late Horror Show occasionally on YouTube, and I did hear them talk about before it came out that he was going on a rant because he thought it was stupid that they were doing it, but that's really the only negative opinion that I had heard. And I'm assuming it made decent. I don't even know what the box office numbers were on it, but I'm assuming it did decent if they're gonna do 2 more, because I would assume that the studio wouldn't be spending the money. I'm just looking for a better inner corner highlight. I'm just not impressed with some of those. I don't know. Digging in my loose drawer over here. If people liked it or not, because like I said, I don't know at this point. Because I liked it. I thought it was good. It was well done. I don't know if they need to do more, but I'll go and watch them, because like I said, it is I did hear a rumor that they were thinking about bringing the actress back that played Jamie, and I don't know if they're going to bring her character back, but again, like, that doesn't make sense to me at this point to do that, so I don't know what they're doing with that. That could just be a rumor, and I forget that actress's name. She mostly does horror movies. I follow her on YouTube. I follow her on Instagram. But again, I don't know if that was a rumor or if she's actually coming back. I have no idea. But again, like, that wouldn't really make sense for her to be playing Jamie unless they're going to throw out, oh, I had another daughter. Which, I mean, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me for them to do that. But because it's a direct sequel to 2, and unless they're going to bring her in and do something different with that storyline, because like I said, it's a direct sequel to 2, so they're pretending that all of the other movies never happened. So I guess they could bring her in and do a different storyline. I don't know what that would be. Like, oh, I had another daughter. I don't know. Who knows at this point? Like I said, that could have just been a rumor. I don't know if she's actually going to be involved in the project or not. That was, and she didn't post it. Somebody else had posted it about her. So, and I'm just going to finish this up with the Too Faced Ultra Plush Lip Gloss in Pumpkin Spice. I was going to do a lipstick, but this is, it has a good smell to it. I wouldn't, it's kind of like sweet marshmallow, like the marshmallow pumpkin latte smell from Bath and Body Works is what this smells like. I wouldn't say it's completely pumpkin spice. But yeah, here's the finished look. I just did mascara. I was going to do eyeliner, and I just decided not to. I definitely like the eyes better with that pigment. I'm going to have to remember that. I do want to use those more, so I'm glad I thought of that. But that's pretty. So yeah, leave me comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the 2018 version of Halloween. Did you like that they started over? Did you agree with my rant? Did you not? Thoughts? Yeah, just leave me your thoughts. We can get a discussion going. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of a movie review and a makeup look. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I will see everybody in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.